Okay.
All right, so let's start. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the core team of the .NET User Group Mauritius, I welcome you all to our very first virtual event of this year. So I will start by introducing myself. Maybe we have new members. I'm Preeti Dabia, and with the help of some passionate .NETers, we have set up this community to build it further on around Microsoft Stack technologies and Azure. So do not forget to be part of this community, which is alive, active, and ready to share and build via our different platforms on LinkedIn and Meetup. So if you're not there yet, just click on the button to join and you're going to be admitted right away. So my message to all of you here present is let's change the landscape of Mauritius in the international map. If you don't know already, we are part of the International .NET Foundation. So what have we planned for today? Kavir is going to talk about parallelism and how to achieve it in using .NET. Satish will walk you through Azure Key Vault secrets. And Nitish is going to present to you the beauty of logic apps. So there will also be a quiz section at the end. So don't forget to participate and win a prize. The prize is actually nice. So let's kick start then. And over to you, Kavir.
Thank you, Preeti. So today I'm going to be the first presenter of our monthly event. And I will be talking about parallel programming in .NET. But first of all, let me introduce myself. I am Kavir Rajkumar. I am eager for knowledge and passionate about coding in relationship to Microsoft, such as .NET and Azure. So my agenda for today, I will define what is parallel programming. Then I will demonstrate the difference between synchronous, asynchronous, and parallel programming as well. I will then continue with some disadvantages of parallel programming because parallel programming is not the cue for everything related to coding. And I will talk about when and where should we use and go for parallel programming. And finally, I will, since parallel programming is a concept, I will show you the type of parallelism that we use especially in .NET and C#. And I will finish with a demo as well to demonstrate the differentiate between asynchronous and parallel programming. So my presentation, I will define parallel programming. Parallel programming is a programming technique where the execution flow of the application is broken down into pieces that will be done at the same time. Also, we use terms concurrently. It may be by a multiple cores, by a processor, or by even the computers, just for the sake of performance. As I mentioned earlier, parallelism is a concept. We can use it, we can have it in several languages. In Microsoft, in .NET especially, we have the task parallel library to perform parallelism. It is under the namespace system.threading, or you can find it under system.threading.task. What it does, it simplifies the process of adding parallelism to your application. It also handles partitioning of the work. It schedules of thread on the thread pool. It also supports the cancellation of execution flow, as well as the state management. And finally, it can also support and handle some low-level details in .NET. So, sometime you might think, what is the difference between synchronous, asynchronous, and parallel? So, synchronous application will run all the tasks in sequence, but if you have a UI thread which is running, it will hang the UI until all the tasks are being done in sequence. Okay. Now compare this difference to asynchronous. If you have a UI thread, it won't hang because it is using threading in order to process or to execute all the tasks. But we have the main thread and the worker thread are running on the same cause on your machine. The huge advantages of parallel programming compared to asynchronous, it is still using the multi-threading execution flow, but a simple advantage is that it is having several cores and it is making use of all the cores in your machine. Whereas where the main thread and the worker thread will run on different cores. Here is a figure to illustrate the synchronous and asynchronous programming, where you can see each task is being executed one at a time in synchronous programming, and then in asynchronous programming, all the tasks are being run simultaneously. Now, if we compare all this to parallel programming, you will see that there is a similarities between asynchronous and parallel, but the only difference is that each process is being run on a separate core or separate CPU. There is one big question that I found on Google, Forum, and even Stack Overflow. Is parallel programming and asynchronous programming, are they the same? So to answer this question, I might respond that according to some documentation from Microsoft and Visual Studio magazine, asynchronous programming defined as a mean of parallel programming. Okay, unit of work run separately from main application, and after the tasks are being completed, it is notified through the thread pool. As we know, the world is not perfect. There are also some disadvantages of parallel programming. For example, it might be difficult for someone to learn. Thus, it may take some time to fully understand the concept. In addition, for code tweaking, it is not really straightforward. And if you are running an application on a huge scale, power consumption is another problem in parallel programming. So that was the disadvantages, but now when and where should we go parallel? To answer this question, we have three particular scenarios where we can go parallel. For example, if you have additional overhead, if you are running a huge task, you can opt for parallel programming, but I really don't advise it if you are running some small particular task. It won't affect any performance and you won't see any improve in performance. Next, you have for data coordination. If you are accessing a particular resources in a collection or list, you can use the syntax parallel.for to enumerate, to loop through the list and increase the performance. And finally, one important thing, if you are scaling up in terms of hardware, the TPL engine will usually take care of the scaling, and the new CPU added to your hardware will be automatically used by the TPL library engine. No need to do any configuration as such. We have two main, as I mentioned earlier, parallelism is a concept, but in C# we have two types of parallelism. First, it's data parallelism, where you can enumerate through a collection or list by using the syntax parallel.for or for each. In task parallelism, computation are executed in parallel. What I mean is that if you are using the syntax parallel.invoke, you can invoke several tasks in it, for example, task 1, task 2, and so on. Each task will be run simultaneously using your resources in terms of CPU to the best of it. I will finish this slide with a small demo, but first of all, let me demonstrate what I want to achieve through this demo. First, I will run a performance monitoring tool, and I will run a simple console application to loop through a range of 0 to 1 million. It's an iteration from 0 to 1 million. And there you will see that only one cause is being used. If you compare this to parallel programming in the same demo, you can see that in parallel programming, every core is being used optimizedly and at its best for the sake of performance. Uh, I will now jump to my application, which is currently already running when I started this day. As you can see, it's a very basic and simple iteration, but performance, you can see I have highlighted. This is have currently have 8 cores on my machine, and only one core is being used at its best performance. All the other 7 cores are being under 80%. So this is a huge difference if you want to achieve best performance. Now I will stop this application. Okay, and I will run parallel programming, which is the syntax 4. It is still looping through 0 to 1 million, but the only difference when I run it and I clear this out, okay, so it is running, you can see through the iteration, but the only difference is that it is using all the cores that I have on my machine at its best level to improve performance. So that was for the demo part. And I also did a second demo just to illustrate the time taken by each execution flow. For example, the synchronous programming is taking more time, 6,000 milliseconds, and compare it to synchronous, which is taking 5,000 milliseconds. And here there is a huge gap in terms of performance between synchronous and parallel programming, where parallel programming stands at 2000 milliseconds. So that was it for me, my small demo in regards to parallelism in .NET. Thank you, everyone. If you have some question, you can shoot it on the live chat of YouTube or even Teams. Okay. So
Do we have any questions, Fabish?
we wait for another 10 seconds or okay.
So if we don't have questions, maybe the next person can also join in, and you can keep posting your questions and we tackle all questions at the end.
That's a great idea.
So the next presenter is? Hi Satish, you're on
Yep.
mute.
Yep. So it's me. I'm trying to share my screen. Nope, that's not the right one. Okay, let me try it again. All right, that's fine. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so let me present myself. So I'm Satish Mohan. I'm in the IT industry for almost 5 years. So today I'll be talking about using Azure Secrets in Azure Pipeline. So um, I would say let's kickstart the agenda for today. We'll talk mainly about the Azure Key Vault. So during the last session in our meetup, I quickly um, talked about some brief part of the Azure Key Vault and in depth what is Azure Key Vault. And the next thing we are going to discuss is about the architecture of using Azure Key Vault in Azure pipelines. And the last thing is our demo. Okay, let's start. So Azure Key Vault, let's do a quick recap. It's a cloud service for securely storing and accessing secrets. Normally, Azure Key Vault focuses on three pillars, which are secrets management, key management, and certificate management. So in the secrets management, we normally use it for storing tokens, password, API keys, other kinds of secrets like database connection strings. So this is about secrets management. The key management is mostly used for encryption keys, and the last one, certificate management. This is um, for let's say certificates like secure sockets layer, the TLS and SSL certificates. And normally for today we will be focusing mainly on using Azure Secrets, so the secret management. And let me highlight that. So for the Azure Key Vault, so normally Key Vault stores and manages secrets as sequences of octets with a maximum size of 25 kilobytes. So that's very an important information because we need to bear in mind when saving or storing secrets on Key Vault, we might not exceed the size limit. So that's a bit about the recap. Now let's quickly jump on the architecture of how it will look and what are the various components that we will be touching when trying to implement Azure Key Vault secrets within our Azure pipeline. So first of all, we will need our Azure DevOps project, and then in our DevOps project, we will have to set up some service connection. What is normally a service connection? So this is a connection which is defined and secures a connection to our Microsoft Azure subscription. So it's normally um, using service principal authentication or Azure managed service identity. So normally when we create our service connection, it will behind the scenes create a service principal whereby it will register it under our list of applications on Azure. So what is the service principal? Like I've mentioned, it um, it is created from the service connection, and in the service principal, we normally specify which resources and access levels that we will made available to our connection. And then using that service principal, we can add access policies in our various components. So for our case today, we will be adding access policies in our Key Vault. So that's mainly for the secrets, and we'll focus on the permissions of get and list. And once we have our Key Vault also in place, we can store our passwords or any kinds of secrets. And then let's come back to our Azure DevOps project. So in our project, we normally have to, create our CI and CD pipeline. So for the release pipeline, once we are deploying our, let's say, application, we will make a connection to our service connection, and in that release pipeline, we will need to make use of the pipeline step, which is the Azure Key Vault, which we will use to pull in all the secrets or the selected secrets from our Azure Key Vault. So this is how it works. And in our release pipeline, in order to make use of these secrets, we might need some other tasks like replace tokens to, let's say, if we have a scenario of a .NET web application, so we might need to replace some tokens in our web.config. So that's a bit how it looks like within the architecture. Now I would say let's quickly jump within the demo. So in the demo, we will, like I mentioned, as prerequisites, we will need an Azure DevOps account and our pipelines, and also we will need a key vault, which I've already set up. So for the demo, I will add the secret in the secrets management, and then we'll make use of the Azure tasks in our pipeline. And also, like I mentioned, we will need our service connection, which I will be showing you guys how to create it. And last one is giving our service connection / service principal access to our Azure Key Vault. So that's about the demo. I would say let's quickly jump on the demo. So I'm sharing my Azure DevOps project. Can you all see it? Okay, seems like this is the right screen. Okay, so like I mentioned, we will start by creating a service connection in our Azure DevOps project. So this is where we need to go. The project settings, scroll a bit, the service connections. So I'll be creating my first service connection for this project. And one thing for making use of Azure resources we will need this type of connection type, the Azure Resource Manager. So let's click next, and by default, as recommended by Azure, we will use the one that will automatically set up the service principal on the Azure portal itself under the applications. Then let's click next. So I will be using my own subscription, and for this demo, I will leave this drop down empty. So when doing that, it allows you, it allows your service connection to access all the resources that are within your various resource groups. So that's, I'll leave it open. And for the service connection name, let's say that's NUJM DevOps, and I'll be leaving the checkbox for granting access to granting access permission to all our pipelines within our project. Click save. It's taking a while. Okay, so our service connection has been successfully created. Now let's quickly check what's in there. So if you want to see the details about what was the naming of your application that has been created automatically on Azure, so let's check that. It's loading on the Azure portal. Let's do a refresh. It might be on the way. Taking a hard refresh. It's not what I'm expecting. Okay, so now I have it. So like I've mentioned, this is the Azure DevOps project, and that's the service principal that has been created under the application on Azure portal, and we'll make use of this service principle to, let's say, grant access from Azure DevOps to our Azure Key Vault. So now I will say, let's quickly add our Key Vault. Let's add our secrets in our Key Vault. This is my Key Vault that I will be using for the demo. Here, let's say the connection, and check I have something prepared. So that's the secret that I will be storing in the Key Vault. That's a database connection string. Let's store that quickly. And by default, it's enabled, so no expiration date on that, and it will be activated automatically. There's an error. Strange. Quickly check that if we already have any secrets in there. Check that the value is correct. Okay, let me just try another name. Okay, looks like something is happening in behind the scenes in Azure. Okay, so that's our secret, and now let's quickly add our permissions in access policy. So let's quickly search for the one that we've recently created. So that's the name of the service principal. I'll use the secret management template, and like I mentioned, we will only allow the get and list permission. So that's selected, and now I'll search for the service principal that we've just created. So let me search that. Okay, we have it. We have it here. Let me select it. Select. Let's add the access policy. Okay, we have it here. Now let's click on save. Okay. All right. So we have been able to add our access policy successfully, and now let's jump back to our Azure DevOps project, and now we'll focus on, let's say, in our release pipeline. So I've already that open in our tab here. So here, like I've mentioned, we'll try to find our service connection that we created in this dropdown. So we have it, NUGM DevOps. So we'll make use of that service connection, and then let's quickly check if I have some app service already available on Azure. Okay, I'll make use of this one. And like I said, this is the task that you will need to add within your pipeline in order to pull in all the secrets from your Azure Key Vault. So let's say if you want to look up for it, that's the name of the task. So that's the one. I have already added it here. Now let's quickly select the NUGM service connection like we did previously, and this is the Key Vault that we will be using, and that's where I've added my connection string. And this parameter normally says whether you want to select a secret specifically or you want to pull in all the secrets from your vault. So for now, we'll leave this one open. So we'll pull in every secret that we have in our Azure Key Vault. And then, like I've said, during the architecture, we might need some task for replacing tokens in our web.config. So here we are saying everything that is coming with this token suffix and prefix, we'll replace it with the Azure Key Vault secrets that we will be injecting within this pipeline. And the last thing is, I'd like to show you here is, this is normally how the syntax, I mean the token is. So it's between the symbols that I've shown. So that's the parameter name. So for example, I mean in our case we made use of this secret name. So um, we'll be making use of this one. And let's say if I want to quickly push that on my repo. Wait, what the config? It's taking some time. But what I would like to show you guys here, just to be on time, I'll be showing some some previous releases that I made use of. So I created it yesterday. Um, so when you are actually injecting secrets in your pipeline, so this is the task which runs successfully. And like I've mentioned, this is one of our secrets that we pulled in. And in the replace token, um, it's mentioning we've been able to replace one token in out of two. So there's two web.config files in our project, but I mean for the demo, we are currently focusing on this one. So that's been replaced and it's been successfully deployed on Azure. So that's the app service. And one more thing I would like to add here is, if you want to I mean there's another way where you can inject secrets in your Azure pipelines. So you can do that from variable groups. So let's say this is you'll have to create a variable groups. This is a new GM. See. And this is the option where you can link your key vault. So we'll make use again of our service connection. That's let's quickly do a refresh. Okay, now we have our key vault, and then it should automatically authorize. But okay, it's happening. Now we can add our secrets, and we can select which one. So you can select this one. You'll have it under your variable groups. Let's save it. And if you want to make use of it in your release pipeline, so you can do that by simply adding your variable group here. Looks like something messed up here. Okay, so that's the recent variable group that we've added. So let's say we want to link it with this stage, the dev stage, then we link it. And if you want to make use of this variable group, so normally you'll have to call it with the $sign, let's say. So that's the name. You'll have to call it like this in your pipeline, and then you'll be able to access the value from that variable. So that's it for the demo. Then let's quickly check if we have any questions. Was there any questions, Pavish?
Satish, no questions for the moment.
Okay, so I guess
the
we'll
people
address
who
them.
have joined us, with Teams, do you have any question? You can unmute and ask the question if you want. Okay, so no questions. Let's move on to our next speaker then.
Okay, thank you everyone. And you can, I mean, for anything, you can reach me out on LinkedIn. So that's it for my part. Over to you, Yudish.
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Yudish, and yep, I will be presenting to you Azure Logic Apps. So this will be a quick demo on Logic Apps. So give me a second, I share my screen. Stop sharing. Okay, meanwhile, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot. And atmosphere, and here we go. Okay, so my screen should be ready right now, and you should be seeing my screen. So thank you everyone who's attending this conference today, and we have some people joining us on Teams and some people on YouTube, and we had a peak of 25 people so far, so thank you very much for attending. So I would be presenting to you Azure Logic Apps. So what is all about Logic Apps? So imagine if you could connect all your apps and services that your business use. So your business rely on probably several services and they are not connected at the moment. So Azure Logic Apps is a nice way to connect all your apps, and also it has options. You can connect your apps without any big coding behind. So yes, a little bit description of Logic Apps. You can integrate apps data from different systems, automate tasks, merge different business processes, and whether you are on-premise or using the cloud, you can integrate your data. So briefly next, we will go to the terms which is used in Azure Logic Apps. First, we have the connectors. Second, triggers, actions, and flow control. So I will be going one by one, briefly in the description in the next slide. So connectors, what are they actually? So they are wrappers that connect different systems. For example, if you want to connect SQL Server, you just need to use the connector for SQL Server. If you want to use Office 365, you can use the connector for Office 365. So for example, if you want to insert an information in SQL Server, so you just click on insert through this connector. It will save a state actually, so the connection string and so on. So next we have triggers. So triggers are something which launches a logic app. So for example, if you have a trigger which says when a new tweet is posted, so something is being triggered, a tweet is posted. Then after that, you need to define what are your different actions. But your trigger is your starting point for the logic app. So next we have action. So in the previous slide, I showed that triggers start the logic app. But after you start it, there should be an action actually, which defines what to do next. So this is the purpose of action. So here, for example, you see book a new appointment. So this is an example of an action which you can do in a logic app. So we will go through these examples in a demo shortly. Next, we have a flow control. For example, you can have an if-else condition. For example, if certain values is greater than 0.5, you do a different action. If it is false, you can do a different actions. So Let's already jump into a demo where you can see the different how to start a logic app. So for a start, I would share what's up already on Azure. So what is up already on Azure is a cognitive service. So what is a cognitive service is the starting point on Azure if you want to do AI stuff. So any AI stuff, would it be face API, text recognition, you can use a cognitive service. For now, I've already created a cognitive service which will analyze text sentiment later in our logic app. I also created as one SQL database, and we will be using logic apps to connect our SQL database. And here, this is our logic app designer. So I already made the steps of creating a logic app, and here you can see the different processes within the logic app designer. So what I will do in this demo is I will show you something about Twitter analytics. So when a new tweet is posted, we will try to detect the tweet sentiment, and then we will do certain actions with it. So just for now, you get just to give a basic idea what we are going to do is here. I will delete this and we'll start one afresh. All right. So as I said, that the logic app would give you different connectors, and here you can see SQL Server, Text Analytics, Twitter, Office 365. These are certain which have already been showed to me, but you can also have a lot of different integrations. Would it be with external parties such as Salesforce, Dynamics, or probably some different databases such as DB2. For now, I would be using Twitter. And I will choose when a new tweet is posted. So for example, right now, I want to do some analytics. Let's say I'm the owner of a bank and I want to check if my customers are tweeting happy things, so good things, positive things about my bank, or negative things. Based on that, you can improve your customer service and contact the bank directly. For now, I will use the keyword NUGM. So what will happen is that whenever someone posts a tweet which has the word NUGM, we will do certain actions to it. Of course, I have a Twitter account here, a connection, which I already created before, so that we don't lose time in just adding connections. So every 3 minutes, Twitter there will be a check on Twitter if there's any new post, new tweets regarding NUGM. The next step would be detecting the sentiment analytics analysis of the tweet. So I would choose the text analytics here, and I would just give a sample document ID. Which is more important is that you choose the correct text here. So for example, right now we need to analyze the tweet text. And so that would be, I just did a mistake here. It's not detect language, but detect sentiment. So I would just delete this one and redo it. So of course, I'm looking for text analytics, and I'm looking for the sentiment analytics. So I will need to detect the sentiment. So I would just write a sample document ID here, and here I will be writing the tweet text. Okay, and okay, right now you have already both the sentiment analytics. What do we do next? In this case, I would say, okay, I want to connect a third party, so I want to connect SQL Server and add a new row in a database to get the list of customers who tweet about me. So right now, I would do is insert a row. So I would choose from my connection string. So again, here I have already SQL connection I already defined before the meeting here. And I would choose my database and UGM and the table customers, so I can keep track. So here, in my database, if I'm going to run here, customers, select all from customers, run the query. So there's at the moment there's nothing so no results. And what I want to do is to do an insert in the database regarding the text that have regarding the tweets and the sentiment. So the tweet text would be the tweet text. The username would be the username of it from Twitter. The sentiment score would be so right now, let's say I want to store the positive value of a sentiment, and I have one more row to add here, the timestamp. So for example, I can just write an expression. So also if you want to do some additional manipulation with values you want to add, you can have custom the functions here already defined. Right now there is also expressions regarding to time. VTC now, click on OK. And here we are good to go already to start testing this process. So how do we test it? We click on Save First, and we go on Twitter and post something to get the sentiment. So this is my username for my test Twitter account. So there's my surname here and test. So I would say something regarding NUGM. Just before here, I saved it. I need to run it now. So click on run. So while it is running there, the run is starting, I can already post something about NUGM, for example. NUGM is cool. So this is really something positive. And when we tweet about it, let's see what happens. Oh, Twitter is not allowing me to tweet. I don't know why. Let me refresh the page. Refresh. Logout. Okay, give me a second. Okay, back live. So let's try again to tweet. And the tweet is posted. So let's go back here on Azure and check what happens. So you see that everything has been done almost within 1 second. And if I click on it, you will see that, okay, when the new tweet is posted, the tweet text is NUGM is cool, exactly what I inserted there. And also there's the timestamp for now, created at a retweet count, and that's my account here. Okay, so that's initially the logic app for Twitter. Then we analyze the text sentiment. So you will see like, okay, the score is positive is equal to 1. So it detects this NUGM score as something positive, which is a good news. Then I connected also the SQL database. So you will see that these are the values in the body which are inserted. So captured timestamp, you have a sentiment score, the tweet text, and the username. Oh, I may have done something wrong here. During the insert, let's go back here. So we go back to the design. Yes. So yep, the tweet text should be the tweet text. So tweet text. So this one is correct one. Okay, save. And if you go to the database, you will see that if I run this, yeah. So our connection from Twitter analyze the text and storing in the database, and it's already started. It's already provided here. So, yep, that's a little bit of demo on the logic apps. You can also extend this. For example, you can add new steps, or from here itself, open this one again, close this one. You can add an action directly here. And for example, if you want to have more control on it, for example, if you want the tweet, if it's positive value, let's say it's the positive value is less than 0.5, so you have almost a negative sentiment, then you can simply add an action. For example, you can go to Outlook, connect to it, and send yourself an email. So should be send an email, for example, and in the body, so you want to send it to anyone you want, you say like negative sentiment by user. And here you can find dynamic content. For example, you should have a username. So tweeted by, so negative sentiment by this user, and on subject you can say please follow up. So yeah, this is just a simple thing to show you that you can have more control on what you do through logic apps, and this through this here you can as a customer service provide better services to your customers. So I think we are running out of time. I will just save this and let's put my email. And save it. Okay, let me try again and click on run and add something. Let's say this is a sad day for NUGM. So I'm just doing this for the purpose of having a negative sentiment tweet. Yep, saved, it's running, I think. Yes. And here I'm opening my mail here, and you see that, okay, there's a negative sentiment by user, and this is the title which we wrote there, please follow up. So this is a way that you can follow up with your users and get better customer feedback and assist your customers better. So that's it for the demo. Do you have any questions? People from Teams, you can directly talk to us. People following from YouTube, please post a question. Feel free.
Well, we don't seem to have any questions so far. Maybe we can move to the Q&A.
Yep. So yes, I have a little questions for the audience. If anyone can reply, answer it.
Maybe I can try. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I think triggers are used to initiate the logic app.
Yes, perfect. So it is used, yep, to initiate a logic app. Great. Do you have more questions? Yes. So what is the maximum size of an Azure Key Vault secret?
25
Any volunteers?
kilobytes.
Someone is speaking.
25
Yes. Yes, good answer. And we have probably a last question. This one could be the tough one because it was the first session of today. What are the types of
parallelism?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much for your answer. Okay, so I think that that was all questions from our side. So our audience has been following. Thank you very much. So I think that's it for our conference for today. Does anyone from the audience have any question? So I don't hear any questions so far. So I would like to say thank you very much, everyone, for your participation. Please feel free to share any our official LinkedIn channel for NUGM. We have a YouTube page and our Meetup page. Feel free to share and join our groups, and stay tuned for the next events. So here's
And
our
we don't
official.
forget that the winners will get their prizes. We will contact them soon.
Yes, perfect. So thank you very much, audience. Thank you very much, team members, and stay tuned for our next events.
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Nice evening to you all.